Let's bring in Michaela Terenzani. She's the editor of the foreign desk of the Slovak Daily SME and joins us live from Bratislava. Michaela, good to have you on the program. So when we look at the final results of this election and Fico winning, is it fair then to say that most voters in Slovakia agree with him and what he wants to do with the country going forward?
Well, there are several reasons why people decide to vote for a party like Smer. One of them is that they do listen to the messages related to Ukraine. There are understandable fears among the population about the Ukraine, but it's not the only thing. It's also a result of the chaos that we have lived in for the past 3 years, caused by the COVID pandemic, but also other problems that the previous government was facing and wasn't always very good at dealing with.
And what are some of those problems that people are concerned about?
Well, one thing that also Smer, the winning party, has highlighted in its campaign is inflation and economic problems. They are promising fast solutions that economists are very reluctant to call viable, and basically that's one of the main messages in the campaign in the last weeks of the campaign.
So, Michaela, Fico also now has to form a coalition. Which parties is he likely to approach to form this coalition and form a government?
So first of all, this is a very common way of forming a government in Slovakia. In the proportional system that we have, parties are always deemed to cooperate with each other. The most likely partner for Robert Fico is the Hlas party, which ended third. This is a party of people who left Smer some 3 years ago. Their leader is Peter Pellegrini, who also served briefly as Prime Minister, and basically these people might be ready to form a coalition with Robert Fico. They would need another smaller partner. This would be the nationalist Slovak National Party, but it's only one of the options. Other options are open as well. There is also an option that would involve only parties that ran against Fico in the elections. But the coalition with Fico, Hlas and the nationalist SNS seems to be most likely at this point.
So if that coalition was to go ahead and a government is formed with Fico in charge, he has been vocal, of course, about Ukraine and pulling Slovakian support for Ukraine. How big of an impact will that have for Kyiv, especially as Ukraine is wanting to join NATO and needs approval of all NATO members in order to do that?
Well, this has been the biggest concern ever since the early election was called in Slovakia 9 months ago. The big question was, will Slovakia become another Hungary in the middle of the European Union? And based on the results that we have right now, we cannot really answer that. Experts on foreign policy are saying that it's not that easy to completely reverse the foreign policy of Slovakia. And even Fico himself said during the press conference this afternoon that he has no wish to change Slovakia's foreign policy, although he did say that Slovakia does have bigger problems than help in Ukraine. And he also suggested that he would like to be involved in peace talks, and he called for peace. And this is just one of the narratives of the pro-Kremlin propaganda that we have heard from Fico throughout this campaign.
Michaela Terenzani, live to us there from Bratislava. Good to speak to you. Thanks again for giving us your insight.
Thank you.